All right. And then
Racism sucks.
U.S. men's national team. We have a new sporting director, Dave.
Yes.
Good, bad, indifferent. If you had to pick one, would you pick somebody different that would only pick a different head coach?
It's bad because he only has one job, really. I mean, if you're the sporting director of U.S. soccer, I mean, I know he does other things or whatever, but the only thing that anybody's ever going to remember him for or watch or see or
Picking
anything like that is
coach.
picking, how the U.S., the men's national team or the women's national team
So you
does.
already think it's a bad pick because you think he's going to pick Jesse Marsh.
He's going to pick Jesse Marsh.
Now,
to be fair, and let's play devil's advocate. So Jesse Marsh has had terrible record in the last 2 times he's coached. And what to me he has proven is that if he is a good coach, it is only when he has, certain players who absolutely fit his system. I don't really buy it because I feel like the Leeds players really fit his system, and he was given license to buy. Obviously, he bought all the Americans. That was clearly him, right? Like, it wasn't like England, Leeds. They woke up one day and said, "Let's get 3 Americans." Right?
Yeah.
No. So he had the players who he wanted, and he still bombed.
Yeah, but he had like one day with Weston McKennie, didn't he?
Not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time, but still.
I think he literally had like one match with him.
But still, the one thing you'll say is if there is a style that matches his football, it's the pressing, counter pressing style that's wild and crazy, and it suits American players. They're very well. It suits what we used to be, and I would like to move beyond that. I feel like we're good enough with the players that we have to actually go head to head and play real football. So I still think, to me, you point a successful coach, period. Yeah. And even, there are times in the national team where there's a guy who's not so successful and it works because the national team is a very different beast. The guy who seems to me so obvious is Caleb Porter. Because Caleb Porter, if anything, is a master of winning tournaments, right? He won MLS Cup twice. He's won the NCAA tournament, right? If anything, he has this thing where he doesn't have to be great in the league, and he just knows how to play through those matches and get through it. And the World Cup is a tournament, right?
And we have a new striker.
Yes.
Somebody can actually score goals. Like,
can definitely score goals.
Have you heard this news, Carmen?
I did hear the news.
Okay.
Because he's a baby, isn't he?
Is it like
18, 19 or something?
He's like one of the top European scorers.
Why did he choose the US? Why?
Well,
he's born in New Jersey, but he was born like fake in New Jersey. Like he was like visiting New Jersey. It wasn't like he grew up in New Jersey. Like I think his parents were visiting, and literally his mom had the baby in New Jersey or New York or something. One of these, but he's not really from the United States at all. He's never lived in the United States. He's lived in England his entire life. He's originally from Nigeria, somewhere in Africa.
I forget which African nation.
But why? Why does he pick the U.S.?
He clearly got rubbed the wrong way with Southgate.
He got pissed off by Southgate not picking him, but
because
that's not a good reason to join the U.S. You're pissed at them. I mean, good for us.
Well, I think he also realizes, right, like he'll be the spotlight. He knows he's a good player.
He knows we have a good team. He knows we're at home.
Knows we're at home. Exactly. That's a lot.
Important.
We're at home. I mean, he's still going to be playing European football where his real career matters, right? But now he's got a chance to have a spotlight as the U.S. star. I think it's a great decision for him. He's not going to be mixed up in a Harry Kane, yada, yada battle in England. He's going to be the star here, and he's definitely going to perform, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's great for us, but it's kind of like you grew up there. That's where you should play.
I didn't know he was like.
That's not how it works at all.
I know
in soccer at all now.
It's usually because you're not good enough and you can't play for that.
You can just pretend like you were born somewhere now and be like, I need to be like, I want to be here.
That's the rules now. You can be a naturalized citizen. So to credit to FIFA, they came up with the right rule. Instead of getting involved in all world politics, they just said, look, once you play at a senior international, you can't switch because we don't want you showing up one World Cup for Brazil, the next one for England, the third one for the US. That's fine.
Yeah.
So they're like, look, you could do whatever the hell you want. If the country wants to naturalize you, you could do it. Go for it.
Yeah.
You can play for them. So that's
Yeah.
the rules.
I
As
can
long as
get
you're a
some
citizen.
estrogen, and I get enough estrogen in my system, there's maybe a chance I could get in the Women's World Cup in a couple of years too. All right, now I'm pushing the lines.
I
get
I'm
it.
not touching that one with the
Don't
gym
touch it, but whatever. It's the world we live in, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, not going there. I went there.
You went there, Mikey.
Well,
but anyway,
true. When you have,
so let's go back. So his name,
whose name?
the U.S. new U.S.
Oh,
international.
Balogun.
Balogun, yeah. So and tell him about it. He's playing in France, right? Do you know which club is it at again?
Do not recall.
I'm trying to remember.
How do you spell it? I can't
Um,
remember how to spell it. What is it?
I can never get I know how to say it, but
I know. I'm like, "Ugh." That's not it.
anyway, so he's in France and he's, I think, the second leading scorer behind Mbappe. Certainly was for a while. And he's playing for one of the weaker teams. So he can really score and he's super young, right? You know, here we go. I think you finally called it out. How old is he? You click on the wiki
20.
part.
Oh, 21. He's older than I thought.
That's not old.
Not old, but I thought he was like 18 or something.
No. And, you know, to be fair, the only thing the U.S. has needed is a striker. Our back line is pretty good. Maybe could be better. Our midfield is world class. And the only thing we really needed was a guy who can put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah.
He's good.
Good for him. You know, the one thing that was credit to the U.S., right? So he went on vacation to Florida. They had a break in the French season and they were given a week or two off. He went on vacation to Florida and he showed up at the U.S. national team camp. He was obviously negotiating with the U.S. or whatever. And, you know, just hung around a little bit, you know, to meet some people, whatever. And social media in the U.S. went absolutely crazy that maybe he's going to decide to whatever. And he says that actually that made a difference to him.
Yeah.
He felt wanted.
Okay.
So credit to U.S. social
Good
media,
job.
right? Good job.
Totally.
Okay.
So he signed. I mean, it's a phenomenal signing for the U.S. We've absolutely needed a striker. None of our strikers have lived up to it at all. Now, having just one striker is not enough. He may or may not be the guy, but at least it's another guy who could really compete.
He's a stud.
And he scored a lot of goals in the French league.
I didn't know he was on loan from Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that.
Yes, he's an Arsenal player. He's on loan to Rennes. Right.
Yep.
So what else haven't we talked about?
So you haven't weighed in, Jesse Marsh. Yes or no? A, do you think he's going to be about to be appointed? And B, and this is open to you, Carmen, and to you, Mikey Dobbs. Is Jesse Marsh the new coach? And B, if he is that good or bad thing?
Carmen, you want to go first?
I think he will be appointed. I just haven't heard anybody else.
It's
is anybody
one of these I mean, we talked about this, right? When we were talking about the madness that was the Claudio Reyna and Berhalter story. And we went back into history and said, you know, how Berhalter got appointed. They only interviewed one person. And we're like, dude, right? For the U.S. national team coaching job, we have to have a more comprehensive search than that.
Yeah.
Right. So now we've, maybe they're interviewing a lot of people, but again, we've only heard one name. If he signs, if I were the U.S. thing, even if you're going to hire Jesse March, I would march some other coach through the front door where everybody knows, you have to make a show of this. You cannot hire another U.S. international in the incestuous system with all the crap we just went through without doing a search.
Okay.
That is madness.
Do you want my opinion, Dave? I have an opinion too. Okay.
Madness.
So back to your question that you gave Carmen and I. Yes.
I jumped the gun.
I think they are going to hire Jesse Marsh.
Okay. Just
like Atlanta United. Should the U.S. men's national team do better? Absolutely. Does that coach even need to speak English? No. I just want them to be able to coach a team that has the talent that we have and is going to be a good fit. And to your point, if we can march whoever that 2 or 3 people in that are proven, they've got a resume of winning, and they're open to winning. I don't care if it's Tata Martino or whomever. Why aren't we interviewing those types of candidates?
You know who's going to be available soon again?
It's crazy.
Who's really good in knockout games?
Who?
Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, because he came in at the most shambolic Bayern Munich appointment ever when they forced out Nagelsmann. He was in first place, still alive in the Champions League.
Yeah, he speaks English.
They lost the Champions League. They're now going to lose the league. You think he's going to survive the offseason?
Will he live in Chicago?
Yeah, he's German.
Has to live in Chicago.
He doesn't care
because they're going to make everything difficult for the head coach.
But Tuchel's going to be available, and he's good in a knockout game. Tuchel's an interesting coach because I think actually tactically and the way he sets up versus other teams is really good. But I think he wears out his welcome because he doesn't know how to coach a system for a team over season. He'd probably be a really good national team coach.
Totally different, because kind of players.
He can clearly coach, but he keeps blowing it when he gets a chance to actually long-term coach the team. But like when he came in last minute for Chelsea, he went and ran the table and won the Champions League, right? So
especially, Thomas Tuchel, if he's got Jurgen Klinsmann as a guy who can just call up on the phone and be like, hey, how's this all work over here?
I mean, he's not fired yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably has. They have one more game before they lose to Dortmund. Yeah. Dortmund has to lose for them to win the title. If Dortmund wins their champion, he cannot survive that. Especially you come in. They fired the coach mid-season when they were in first place and they were still alive in the Champions League, clearly moving into the semifinals. Like, what the F, people? That's just madness.
Yeah.
I'm Nagelsmann. I'm like, what? They like the way the style, the way the team looked or something. I'm like, who the F cares? You're winning.